welcome to the churches of St Andrews, Boroughbridge, Smithills and St Peter's. I'm Craig Watson, I'm Associate Minister here. I'd like to share with you a favourite Bible passage of mine from the Old Testament, the prophet Hosea. In that day, declares the Lord, you will call me my husband. You will no longer call me my master. I will remove the names of the Baals from her lips. No longer will their names be invoked. In that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, the birds in the sky, and the creatures that move along the ground. Bow and sword and battle I will abolish from the land, so that all may lie down in safety. I will betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you in righteousness and justice, in love and compassion. I will betroth you in faithfulness, and you will acknowledge the Lord. That was Hosea chapter 2 verses 16 to 20. And the slides as it was being read explain what God was saying to the people in the historical context of the time. But God doesn't just speak through the Bible in that way. He speaks also personally. That happened to me with this passage, and that's why it's one of my favourites. When I was a young man many years ago, I was part of a church which was reading the Bible from cover to cover. We were taking 4 years to do it, and each day we had a passage of the Bible to read. We'd been following this for a couple of years, and during that time I'd met a young woman who I very much liked. I'd started to think, I wonder whether I should ask her to marry me. I came to a point where I realised I needed to make a decision, and the day that this reading was set was the day when I prayed, God, please show me what I should do. I opened my Bible and I read the words, I will betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you in righteousness and justice, in love and compassion. I will betroth you in faithfulness, and you will acknowledge the Lord. And as I read those words, it was as though God was stood next to me saying, I'm betrothing you to this young woman. Now get one and ask her to marry you. Having done that, I then thought to myself, oh, is it just me? So I prayed, God, if this is you speaking to me, please confirm it. That Sunday, I went to church with this young woman, and as we sat in the congregation, the preacher, who had 7 passages from the week to be able to select what he was going to talk about, started his talk. He didn't pick this passage, but midway through his sermon, he suddenly stopped, pointed into the congregation at myself and this young woman, and said, and you have people in this church who will soon be getting married. And it was as though God had said, well, you asked me to confirm it, and I have. What was more remarkable was this guy was visiting our church. He didn't know us, had never met us, had no idea who we were. So that gave me the courage. So I decided to ask her if she would consider being my wife. She did, and here we are many, many years later, and we're happily married. It's been the most blessed thing I've had in my life, and absolutely amazing. God is always wanting to communicate with us if we just take the time to listen and if we're willing to respond when he speaks. I bind unto myself today the power of God to hold and lead, his eye to watch, his might to stay, his ear to hearken to my need, the wisdom of my God to teach, his hand to guide, his shield to ward, the word of God to give me speech, his heavenly host to be my guard. Amen.